This story starts by showing a dense forest where a woman is fighting with her husband. She used to work with her son. The boy's name is Solomon. He could not see and his father did not live with them. Solomon's mother's entire focus is on teaching her son how to work when he is blind because life in the jungle was not easy and Solomon could not even see. So his mother used to tie a rope to Solomon before leaving home so that he would not face any problem in returning home. Solomon's mother used to set traps for him to hunt. Well, now these two mother and son go to the forest today and Solomon checks with the traps. All of them are empty except one trap. That is, today they got very little food to eat, which they know before eating that prey. Solomon's mother explains to him that you know the rules of the forest, because whoever gives us the forest, we have to give half of it back to the forest, so Solomon eats 2 parts of his prey. After doing this, he goes out into the dense forest with his mother. The rope made with Solomon was so long that he could reach the dense forests but could not go inside the forest, so he threw half of the prey into the forest and returned home. Now the next day these two mother and son go fishing, but after not catching any fish for a long time, Solomon's fish says that perhaps these worms which we have put in the fish hooks are probably small, and they hear this. Solomon goes into the forest to collect big insects. While he is searching for insects by hitting his hands on the ground, suddenly a chain comes in his hand. He is surprised because he thought that chains would things be tied. After all, what could be such a thing here? There was a commotion in the forest when Solomon touched the chain, and hence Solomon's wax also came to him in search of him. She starts scolding him and says, "I did not ask you to come so far, and son, do you know how dangerous this forest is?" Now seeing his wax angry, Solomon apologizes to him, after which his wax takes him home. After coming home, Solomon's wax is quite satisfied. She looked nervous and it seemed as if she was trying to hide something. At night she told Solomon the story of a goat that was forbidden to go into the forest, and one day when that goat went into the forest he died. This story was written by Solomon's mother herself for him so that he does not get scared and go into the forest. After listening to the story, Solomon asks his mother about death. The mother replies that she does not know this. What happens after death? But yes, I know that death is not the end, and you also have to believe in this. These were his last words, because after this, his ashes went away from home and years passed. So she came back and neither could Solomon find any trace of her. While leaving, she apologized to Solomon on the tape recorder for leaving him and also told him 3 rules to live his life without which he would have died, in which the first rule was that if he brought anything from the forest, half of it would be returned to the forest. Secondly, whenever Solomon was in any trouble or felt afraid, he should sing the song that he used to sing with his mother, and thirdly, that Solomon would never leave his rope. Solomon had spent years following these 3 rules. He had learned a lot in life, and there came a time when he went hunting in the forest and did not find anything. When he went fishing, he got only 1 fish with great difficulty, but because he was very hungry, he ate all the fish himself and did not give anything to the forest, and the result was that at night he got scared of the forest. Sounds started coming. Solomon did not pay much attention to these sounds, although he knew that today he had broken a rule. Now he lay down to sleep, but in the middle of the night he noticed that today his goat was not making any noise at all, and feeling strange when he goes out to check, he finds his goat dead. Due to all this tension, he does not sleep the whole night. Now he has very little food left, and today when he is back in the forest. When he went hunting, the surprising thing was that he found a deer dead in the forest, although nothing like this had ever happened before. He was thinking about all these things when suddenly he heard a human voice. Due to this, he becomes very nervous because to date he has never heard the voice of any third person except his parents. The name of this hunter was Hang, who had hunted this deer, but he told Solomon to stay away from his prey. And when he comes to take Solomon away from his prey, Solomon attacks him with his knife, due to which the hunter's hand is injured. The hunter in turn hits his gun on his head. Due to this, Solomon becomes unconscious. When Solomon regains consciousness, the hunter Hang is sitting in front of him, and he also tells Solomon not to panic. Solomon notices that he is close to his house. He asks the hunter, "How did I find my house?" The hunter replies, "Through your rope." At the same time he asks him, "Child, do you live alone in this forest?" Solomon does not give any answer to this question because he is angry at being called a child. Hang apologizes to him and also says that if you let me stay in your house tonight, I will give half of my prey to you, because look, It is about to be night now and the danger in the forest will increase at night. Now Solomon also liked this man, that is why he allowed him to stay in his house. Now after coming to the house, Hang cooks food and also checks Solomon's house because he is quite surprised that a blind man. How is a person living his life alone in this dense forest? Hang asks him questions like, where are your parents? How do you live alone here? If you want, I can take you from here to a safe place. But Solomon, he says that I am very happy in this house, and saying this he goes to sleep. The night passes and they start hearing scary sounds from the forest. Hang asks Solomon, do you know from whom these sounds come? But even Solomon did not know whose voices these were because he had never heard such voices before. Now Hang takes his gun and moves towards the forest to check what these voices are. Hang it in the same dense forest. Hang goes into the forest where Solomon was not allowed to go, where Solomon used to give half of his prey. Hang, who was intent on killing any animal with his gun, notices that in the forest there is a very big bear lying dead very brutally. He starts wondering what could be the evil that is bigger and more powerful than the bear that has killed the bear too. Now before he moves further to check, he realizes that feeling that something is chasing him, he runs to save his life, and after coming back home he asks Solomon, do you know what it was that was chasing him? But Solomon doesn't know anything about this either. Well, the next day Hang had to leave from here, but he had a whole deer with him. He says to Solomon, I have to keep this deer safe. Do you have any such place? On hearing the answer of no from Solomon, Hang says, that's no problem, I will make a place myself where I can keep it, but for this work I will need some things which include a chain. Solomon says, yes, I know where you will get the chain, it is right in the forest. It is in the middle near the river, and this is the same chain that Solomon had got in his childhood. Both of them reached that chain, and Hang was also surprised to see this chain in the middle of the forest. He also wanted to know who was tied to this chain. While chasing the chain, he reaches a secret cave. Before he sees the cave from inside, a bird tries to attack him, so Hang also follows and he returns home with only the chain he needs. Back here, Hang sees that Solomon has thrown some of the meat into the woods as well. Hang asks him why he did that. Solomon says, because I have been told to do it and I have been doing it for years. I'm coming. Hang finds all this strange. He thinks that maybe Solomon's mom is not a magician. Hang tries to explain to Solomon that the thing you are afraid of is probably some animal, and if you want and if you help, they can easily catch and kill that animal, and this will save you all the danger, after which you will not need to give half of your food to anyone. But now the problem was that Solomon's rope is so long. Hang was not big enough to go inside the forest. Hang says it is not a big problem, you leave this thing to me, and through the talks, both of them become good friends. Hang tore a lot of clothes and used his rope. He ties it together so that it can grow bigger. Now after this, both of them go into the forest, but suddenly someone attacks Solomon and starts pulling him backwards. Hang somehow saves him and brings this thing back home. It was extraordinary. Solomon was very scared of these things. Solomon asked Hang to read me the story from the book that my mother always used to read to me. Hang is also distraught by this incident with Solomon, so when Solomon sleeps, he goes to the forest again to check whether Hang is there. With the help of that chain, he again went to that cave, while on the other hand, Solomon was also worried about Hang's departure. He too went into the forest to search, but due to the shortness of the rope, it became difficult for him to move ahead, and hence he unties the rope, and in this way he also broke the second rule told by his mother. When he goes, he finds Hang dead at a place, and seeing this, Solomon gets very upset. He starts crying a lot, and at the same time, he again starts hearing the same scary sounds from that forest very close to him. We are shown that whatever that thing was in that cave was not a big animal or a monster, but it was Solomon's mother. Her eyes had completely changed. It seemed as if she was in someone else's possession. Solomon could not see who it was. He did not know that it was his mother, and that is why, out of fear, he started singing the song told by his mother, due to which his mother comes to know that her son had come here. She goes near her and hugs her son. When she applies it, Solomon kills her with a knife. Solomon had no idea that he killed his wax because he could not see and his wax was not able to speak. We see that after his wax dies, Solomon's eyes also become the same as his mother's. What happened to Solomon? There was some kind of conflict in his family due to which Solomon's eyes first changed into some strange creature which we see in the movie. In the beginning, it was seen that Solomon and his mother used to throw half of their prey in that forest, So it could be that they threw the food only for their date, and after their death, this curse came on his mother, and then Solomon used to throw half of his prey in that forest every day. He kept throwing half of the prey in the forest for his mother without knowing why he was doing so, and when his mother died, this burden came upon him, with which this story ends here.